Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah, not all made up today. Although I am going out. I'm going out to have a massage, an energy session. And so no makeup needed, no hair needed. I'm in my Washington, D.C. comfy sweatshirt. It is raining out. It is dreary with no sun. And so what do I do on those days that I feel like that? The weather's kind of gloomy and I don't really want that to weigh on my mood. I grab my Mallorca cup. This is not it just makes me smile. Do you find that colors make you happy or sad or angry or scared? They use those in marketing a lot, right? They use different colors. But when I see them bright and all together like that, it just reminds me of sunshine and flowers and spring and summer. And it makes me in a better mood. So today, in the hopes of getting in a better mood because of the weather outside, I've chosen this mug. What have you chosen today? Post a picture below. I'm curious. Post a picture of whatever you're drinking and the glass that you're drinking in. Maybe you've got a clear glass. Maybe you've got a white mug. Maybe you've got a champagne glass. You don't need to have champagne in a champagne glass, right? You can have orange juice. You could get a margarita glass and not have a margarita in it. But you know what? It's funny. It tricks our brain, and I just feel different when I drink from different types of glasses. What about you? Do you feel different when you drink from different types of glasses? I certainly do. So post a picture below of what you're drinking and what you're drinking it out of. And there's no judgment. I don't really care. I don't care if it's 8 a.m. and you're having a beer. More power to you. I think I would fall over. But if that works for you and that's your go-to, no judgment. You do you, boo. That's what it's all about. Being ourselves, being what works for us. So, speaking about what works for us, if you caught me yesterday, I talked about going to the dentist, right? And I was told I needed to have a crown replaced because it has now cracked and pieces have fallen off of it twice. So they're like, I think you may need to have it replaced. So I went in yesterday, and do you remember I was telling you that I was talking myself off the ledge, right? I could either talk myself and spiral into a hole of anxiety and nervousness. I'd never met the dentist. It's a new dentist. My husband had a horrible experience replacing a crown. I cried when I got my first crown. It's just got a lot of emotions, a lot of experiences that are not necessarily positive, that are around the dentist and teeth and competency and a lot of things. And so I went yesterday, but what I was telling myself was, he's going to be amazing. He's going to have the best personality and bedside manner. It's going to put me at ease. It's going to make me relax. It is going to be seamless and easy. Remember, I was telling you all of this because I was telling myself this, right? So what happened? Fast forward. So I went in yesterday, and I actually really, his staff is top notch. Like, if you own a business and you don't focus on your front end people, you're doing your business a disservice, because those are the people that are making the first impression. And those are the people that your clients and customers remember and create the experience that they want to come back for, are those first contacts, right? And his staff is just amazeballs. Absolutely incredible. And so I went in, and as I'm sitting there, I'm like, don't you let that nervousness bubble up, Aim. Don't you do it. It's really easy though, because all of those thoughts, all of those memories, all of those experiences keep coming up, and you're sitting there and you've got other people around, you're looking, who's next? Who's next? Am I next? Right? And so they called me back and they took a picture. And yeah, part of the tooth is gone, which is what I knew, right? And thank goodness it's in the back, and it's on the back on the inside. So first of all, no one can see it. That's the most important thing. And it wasn't rough, like, well, it wasn't smooth as glass, but it wasn't like shard, like it was going to cut my tongue, kind of sharp. And so the dentist comes in, and he goes, okay, and he sits down and he explains all these things to me. And I was like, wow, immediately. Well, first of all, he was very personable. He was super personable. Came in, smiled, was very, very nice, and then explained that this is very common with this type of crown. That is what they had used for decades, was this kind of crown. It is a metal crown with porcelain on top, and the porcelain is notorious for cracking and breaking off the metal. He said, now, if it was a different tooth, we would be having a different conversation. But because of where it's at, there are, I don't remember what he called them. So if you're a dentist, you can put in the regular term. But there are like little bumps, like little hills on your teeth. And there's 5. There's 3 on the side here, and there's 2 on the inside. These little hills on the top of your teeth. And he said, the biting surface is actually on the outside. The inside 2 little hills don't really do much. They don't take the brunt of the force. It's okay. You know, that's not where you bite down. That's not where you chew. That's what one of those little hills is what broke off. He said, so number 1, you don't really use it to chew. Number 2, you didn't break it off in between the teeth to the point where you're catching food. Like, do you have 2 teeth where anytime you eat anything, like it's a magnet and food just gets stuck in there? Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if it's steak or green beans or a piece of lettuce. Anything you eat gets packed in there. I have a tooth up here like that. Really irritating. Carrying on dental floss all the time. I always wondered why older people carried around picks and stuff. And it's because our teeth shift as we get older, and then shit gets stuck in them. Anyway, luckily, not the case back there, right? And so he goes, I'm not a really big advocate for messing with a tooth that is functional and stable. So my suggestion is to just smooth out where you chipped it off and be on your merry way. I was like, what? You're not going to yank the damn thing off? You're not going to have to like put a mold, and then I'm going to have to sit in a temporary for 3 weeks and then come back, and then you have you yank off the temporary and put the permanent on and hope that, you know, the nerves and everything don't get pissed off. Like, what? You're just going to like file it down and send me on my way? He goes, yeah, if that's okay with you. I could have hugged the man. I could have absolutely hugged him. And he goes, and if by chance the front little hill thing, I don't know what it's called, the little hill thing, falls off, no big deal. The only time that we're going to really have to remove it is if the 3 hills on this side, the biting surface, break off. Or you break off a portion and you get food stuck in between. Didn't need needles, didn't need to be numb. 30 minutes in and out. Have a nice day. Woohoo! Now, I worked hard on my mindset before I went in there. I very easily could have gone down that, oh my God, it's going to hurt. I hate needles. When they're going to pull that thing off and then they're going to have to use that thing. And I hate the way that thing sounds. And it grinds your teeth and goes, ee! Like I could have done that. I could have done that. And there were thoughts that came into my head that were like that. But I chose to say it's going to be okay. I chose to say that it is, he's going to be amazing. He's going to put my nerves at rest, at bay. And that's exactly what happened. Now, even if he had to take it off, I felt much better and I had a lot more confidence in him by him taking the few minutes to explain what was happening, that this is normal, that this is, nothing that I did wrong, that it's just what happens. And I could have wasted sleep. I could have had a stomach ulcer. I could have done all of these things by letting those thoughts spiral out of control. And none of that happened. None of it happened. I would have wasted all that time and energy. I would have made myself miserable for nothing. Literally for nothing. How many times do you do that? I do it. I catch myself doing it a lot. Catastrophizing is what it's called. Catastrophizing. Thinking of the worst case scenario and running with it down that rabbit hole and making myself feel ill, not being able to sleep, nerves, anxiousness, and then for nothing. For nothing, it never happens. All that worst case scenario never even happens. And so it's a great lesson, a great reinforcement for me to watch my thoughts, right? And to not waste my energies and my time worrying, fretting, getting anxious and nervous over something that may never happen. So that's my learning lesson. It was so actualized yesterday. Is that a word? Actualized? Actualized? Is that a word? Anyway, you know what I mean. And I am grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful that I didn't waste a whole night of no sleep. I am grateful that my stomach, I didn't spend like hours and days wanting to vomit from the thought of what could go wrong. About the pain and discomfort. Zero pain, zero discomfort. And the guy's super nice, super duper nice, and obviously knows his shit. And that's why so many people recommended him to me. And I'm grateful. I am super, super grateful. So today, what am I doing today? I'm going to have this massage. This morning I woke up. Have you ever had, oh, good golly, Miss Molly. Have you ever had a Charlie horse in the middle of the night? Have you? Where like literally you woke up out of sleep with your calf muscle was like a rock and all you wanted to do was touch it, but anytime you touched it to knead it, it was so painful. Well, I didn't have that last night, but I had like the remnants as if I had had a Charlie horse, right? The after, the soreness of the muscle after it contracts like that. I had that this morning, and I got up to go to the bathroom. I was like, oh, what's going on with my leg? So I'm grateful that I'm going to go get a massage today. Super grateful for that. And then I'm going to come home and I have meetings. And drinking out of my, colorful mug sets me up for a little bit of a better day when there's no sunshine and there's just rain and gloom and doom. It's okay, nature needs this sometimes. And sometimes this kind of weather puts me in a mood where I cancel everything and I just take a day off. Sometimes I feel like it's Mother Nature telling me that I need to do something to rejuvenate, replenish, water myself. So that's how I'm doing the massage today. And that's going to help me water myself, bring me back, rejuvenate me. What do you do when you're depleted? Let me know in a comment below. Curious. Maybe I'll implement that. Yeah. Cheers. I hope you have a totally terrific Tuesday, my friend. And I will see you tomorrow. Make it a great one. See ya.